Morning. Today we are going to discuss about forceps used in extraction of maxillary forceps and mandibular forceps. Now let's understand the basic difference between a maxillary forceps and a mandibular forceps. In the maxillary forceps, the long axis of the handle and the long axis of the working end, they are parallel, whereas that of mandible, they are at 90 degrees. This and this, so they are at 90 degrees. And the difference between the maxillary forceps is that the maxillary forceps is held by a palm up grip, whereas a mandibular forceps is held with a palm down grip. Now again, it is just working similarly on my previous lecture. As you have seen on elevators, it works on the work arm and the hinge and the working end. Now let's start with the forceps. Okay, these are anterior forceps. They are straight and the beak is touching. Okay, now they are used in the anterior maxillary central incisors, lateral incisors. Some instrument companies give it a slight difference, keeping a slight gap for canine, and for premolar the difference is that the handle itself is curved. So the curve is to accommodate the forceps. Now in a premolar, since both the edges are same, there is no distinguish between a right side and a left side. They are same for both right and left forceps. Here we come to a molar forceps. Now this is a beak given on the buccal side of the teeth. The fissure on the buccal side of the teeth is where this prominence engages. So that means that this forceps is upper right molar forceps. This is a paired instrument. This cannot be used in the left side, because if you use in the left side, this will go lingually, whereas lingually we keep the instrument barred. Now this is a modification of upper molar. Here there is an angulation given. Now this angulation is to accommodate so that the instrument working end entangles the third molar more conveniently. Now, this is called as a bayonet. Now bayonet, what is a bayonet? Bayonet is actually a gun with a knife on top. That's what is a bayonet. It has got its name from the bayonet, from this particular gun which is used by the army people, in which the blade is on top of the cannon. Now there is a bend here. This is again to accommodate so as to go to the posterior part. Okay, this is called as a bayonet. It is used for roots. So similarly on the lower, there is one more cow horn which I cannot find here. There is no cow horn here. Maxillary cow horn has got, see the tips very carefully. It has got a hugging arm which engages the lingual root, and it has got a single beak on the, this engages the furcation between the two mesial roots of the upper molar, and this hugs the palatal root. That means when it is held in a grip like this, it engages. This instrument is for upper left grossly decayed molar. This engages the buccal furcation, this hugs the palatal root. So this is also a paired instrument which we see. Now we will go to the mandibular ones. This what you see is all the forceps of the maxilla. Now we come to the mandibular forceps. Now this is a mandibular lower forceps, working edge at 90 degrees to the handle. Now here this appears like the horns of a cow. It's called as a cow horn forceps. This is used for grossly decayed mandibular molars. Both enter the furcation of the grossly decayed tooth. Now this can be used only when the furcation is intact, because then only this forces, beaks will engage the grossly decayed tooth. Now this is a molar Pause. Molar forceps. Now these are also not paired. This both right and left side is used. This engages the buccal fissure and this engages the lingual fissure, and it is used on the right and left quadrant together. That finishes with the forceps. Now I'll just tightly explain where we have to stand. Now it's a very simple formula. It's a very simple formula. Where do you stand? So if you are extracting the fourth quadrant, you stand at 11 o'clock position. All the rest of the extraction you stand in front of the patient at a 4 o'clock position. Now in order to extract, for the maxillary teeth, the positioning of the chair is that the maxilla should be at an angle of 45 degrees and it should be around an inch and a half below the shoulder. So we have to raise the patient. The whole idea is to work in such a way that you don't give a back problem down your life. Now here the maxilla is almost at a 45 degree angle. Now suppose you want to work in the first quadrant. The thumb is used to reflect the cheek. The index finger is used to give support to the palate, and then the forceps is engaged. Okay. Again, clearly, this is how the thumb is used to engage the buccal vestibule. The index finger is used to support the palatal aspect of the bone, and then the forceps is engaged. Now when you are doing on the second quadrant, the thumb goes palatally, the index finger goes buccally. Index finger is used to move the cheek, and then the forceps is engaged. Okay. Now while opening the forceps, engaging the index finger below, in between the forceps is a wrong way of handling the forceps, because it will cause crushing of your finger. It should ideally be pushed or opened by your little finger. Now we'll come to the mandibular lower teeth. Now for mandibular third quadrant, we have to stand at a 4 o'clock position. Here three fingers come into use. The middle finger goes into the lingual aspect, the index finger goes into the buccal aspect, and the thumb goes to support the mandible. Here we stand at a 8 o'clock position, and if it is left-handed, it is at a 4 o'clock position. So here the index finger is placed lingually. This is to retract the tongue. The index finger is placed in the buccal vestibule. The middle finger is used to retract the tongue, and the thumb is used to support the mandible. Okay, and with the right hand the forceps is used. Now when we talk about the third quadrant and the fourth quadrant, ideally the position should be at the level of the elbow or slightly below the level of the elbow. Now for extraction of the fourth quadrant, we stand at a 11 o'clock position. The index finger is used to retract the index finger is placed in the buccal vestibule. The thumb is placed in the lingual aspect, and the middle finger is used to support the mandible, and the forceps is placed, and it is used for extraction. Thank you. Forces to be applied, and where exactly, which direction. Is it going to be, we are going to do more buccal force or more palatal force? This varies slightly from case to case. Now if it is, suppose we consider the maxillary molars, we give a buccolingual traction and then a traction of bucco-occlusal. Now the reason why we give a bucco-occlusal traction is that the biggest root is the palatal root. So we don't want the palatal root to break. That is the reason we pull it out bucco-occlusally. So that even if the mesial and distal root break, it is easier to remove than to remove a palatal root in maxilla. When there are single-rooted tooths, a slight rotational movement makes it lax from the ligament, and it is easier for us to extract. Now in lower anteriors also, a slight rotation movement and then bucco-occlusal. There is a small trick in extraction that, suppose if you are extracting some tooth and if lingual movement is easier, it is better to give more force lingually so as extraction gets easier. So which side the instrument moves with less friction, less resistance, that side motion should be moved. Thank you.